Good evening. A base where thousands of Alaska-based soldiers are currently deployed to came under attack by armed insurgents in Afghanistan last week.
Now, that attack is what ultimately led to the death of Private First Class Vincent Ellis, which was announced yesterday. Now, Channel 2's Todd Walker, who recently visited that same base in Afghanistan, joins us now with new details about the attack. And Todd, this was a major security breach, right?
Mike Rebecca, it absolutely was. A truck bomb managed to blast a hole in the outer wall of forward operating base Salerno back on June 1st. That blast allowed 10 armed insurgents to get inside the base. Many were wearing explosive vests, and 3 were able to detonate those vests. 2 civilians were killed in the attack. We don't know what their nationalities are. The Army has not been able to provide us with how many soldiers were injured in that attack, but most say the injuries were minor. There could be a lot of injuries, though, in this instance. The shock wave caused by the blast from the truck bomb caused the partial collapse of the base's main dining facility. The Army says this happened around 1 in the afternoon, so there are potentially hundreds of people inside having lunch. Meanwhile, that same blast caused a considerable amount of damage to this storage building for the base PX, although we're told both buildings are open and functioning again. Private First Class Vincent Ellis was injured in the attack and taken to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. We learned he died earlier this week of his injuries. The Army tells us soldiers were able to kill all 10 insurgents. We're told none of the insurgents made it inside any of the buildings on the base. Again, we don't know how many people were injured, but the Army says most of those injuries were minor. Mike, Rebecca.
Well, Todd, as we mentioned, you spent some time at the same base while you were reporting from Afghanistan. Describe the security for us.
Well, in that area where the explosion took place, there are huge cement walls that are several feet thick, so that had to have been a considerable blast, as we mentioned at 5. Also, every soldier, whenever they leave their place where they sleep or where they're working, they are required to have their weapon on them at all times. It's basically part of their uniform. So that's how they were able to respond to this attack so quickly and take out those 10 insurgents.